2023 has been a hot minute. It's starting to become spring, and during spring is usually the busiest time. We just wanted to kind of catch up and catch you all up with what's going on. So we got kind of a big thing happen in the last few months. We have a new team member. So,
yes.
So Jordan has joined us, and it's been pretty exciting. So in a little bit, we'll talk about his journey into real estate and kind of his role. But yeah, so what have you guys been up to in January, February, and March? I know what you guys have been up to. We see each other every day. But yeah, let people know what's been going on.
I've been embarked on this journey with my wife in coaching girls volleyball, should I say, 14s.
Tell us about your wife. I've heard good things. We're in Ankeny right now, Ankeny Smoky Row. It's not sponsored, but we paid for this room,
That's right.
Rented it out. But Smoky Row is a great place. You'll find Rude Realty a lot in there. But tell us about Eva. I mean, she is, I think, the only D1 athlete a part of this team. Well, my wife was a cheerleader at Drake, so we got two.
Yeah.
So we got two.
No big deal.
Tell us about Eva.
Yeah, so she graduated from Ankeny, which is great. Southside, Hawkeye or whatever. No, it's Hawk, sorry.
Yeah.
Just Hawk.
Yeah.
Was in a four-peat state championship team, then went to Mississippi State, and then finished her career off at Grandview, which that's where I met her. And now we're kind of back in the volleyball scene, where she jumped right back into it, and she's a defensive specialist. She was libero, all-state libero, all-decade libero. She'll probably tell you that she doesn't like me saying that, but just the way it is.
She went to Mississippi State and got a scholarship, right?
Scholarship, D1 scholarship, SEC. So again, if you talk to her, she's gonna be like, "Why did you say that?"
Just say your boss made you.
That's right, that too. That, and we can go that route. But no, it's been great. This is our third year for her, but second year and first year for myself to be with her. I called myself the speed and strength coach for the team, as her and Coach Tegan is her co-coach. They're more logistic wise, but no, it's fun.
Yeah, Moncee's a good coach, and it's crazy atmosphere. I've heard. I mean, they'll play at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, these type of tournaments, and there'll be 70 plus teams, all from the Midwest, and it's crazy. Like you go pool play, and then you can like have a good tournament and finish 50th, and so it's kind of wild. But it's a total world. But yeah, Eva. She's not a Hall of Famer. She should be. Is she a Hall of Famer?
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, she should be a Hall of Famer. So we're going to start that campaign. But it's pretty cool to give back, and coach that way, and it's cool to have that family environment. So for me personally, I'll be short and sweet. We just got done with basketball a couple weeks ago with my kids. Now we're into baseball and softball. My youngest daughter, Jackie, she is playing softball for the first year. She's on the the little itty bitty bunnies, and so we announced it last night at dinner, and she was very thrilled. And if you know Jackie, she's ready. She's watched hundreds of softball games and probably a few hundred baseball games, so she's ready to go. She's 5, and so that'll be fun. So this will be our first spring where all 4 are doing baseball or softball. So it'll be a busy spring. It'll be a lot of fun. So, Mady, what's going on with you?
I would say just outside of work, Peter and I just went on a little day trip last week, I think it was, to Marshalltown. Checked out a new burger shop.
Yeah. What's it called?
The Flying Elbow.
Ooh, I like that. Wow.
Yeah, check it out.
That's right.
Super good.
That's great.
It's like a hip new burger shop, and then they have a chocolate store 2 doors down. That was good too. I really like food. Yeah, I would say that's pretty much it. Short and sweet as well.
Yeah. All right, so now we go to Jordan. So Jordan, tell the audience just kind of your real estate journey, and maybe even go back a little bit as well. So how do you get to this point?
Yeah, so I just graduated from Drake University with Actuarial Science and Data Analytics. I graduated in May of 2022. Right off the get-go, I worked on a finance team for Mayo Clinic for a little bit, and that was fun. That was great. I met a lot of really cool people. Mayo Clinic, it's a great company, it really is to work for. But I think I found pretty quickly that I was tired of being in Excel, and I wanted to actually help people and see how I was impacting people. At which point Jason got in touch with me, kind of chatted, saw him. He just told me it was a series of coffee dates, I call them. It was fun.
Right. If you work for me, we go on lots of coffee dates.
Yeah. He just told me all about it, and it sounded pretty sweet. It sounded like he was actually helping people. It sounded like he was really passionate, and that's something that I was really pumped for. Then I said, yeah, let's do it. He gave me a position, went for it. Did online classes for a while, and that was quite the grind, not gonna lie. You have to do quite a bit of online classes, but we got through it, powered through it, took the exam, passed it first try. Come on now.
That's right, that's big.
Let's go.
That's big.
It's big. So I've been working for Rude since the beginning of January. And fully licensed now, ready to go, ready to hit the ground running. Last couple months, I'm also pretty heavily involved in the college ministry. We just got back from a mission trip, so that's why I have a bit of a halo. If you see the tan line, hopefully it's not too bad. But that's what I like to do in my free time.
That's great. Excited to have Jordan on the team, so he'd be a great fit. So yeah, we'll kind of, I just want to give a quick market update. Right now we're in more of a normal market. And so before 2020, we had historic gains. 2014 was better than 2013 from a real estate market standpoint. 2015 was better than 2014. And then basically what kind of happened though was in 2018 it kind of peaked, and 2019 went down a little bit. And that's when people were expecting, when it went down a little bit, the market overall, like in the US market was going to, in a sense, we're going to have a recession there. But then COVID happened. When COVID happened, the government gave a bunch of free money, which was like steroids, and so all of a sudden the market went like this. Now we're in more of a normal market, and from a transaction volume standpoint, we're actually closer to 2018 than we are in 2019. So I thought it would be more similar to 2019, and that was a great market. That was historically the best market Des Moines ever had. And actually 2018 was better, and I think 2018 from a total amount of homes sold, that was a great year, and that's what it's looking at right now. We're seeing multiple offers right now, and I think the key thing is we're telling all of our clients, buyers and sellers, is like you need to make good fundamental decisions, and you need to make decisions that that you can afford, and make decisions that make sense, and things will take care of itself. I was even looking at some of our clients that bought a year ago, right before the rates went up, and we had a client in the Valley Junction area, and they bought $250, and now it's like we could probably sell that for $275 in 1 year. And a year ago at this time, I was like, appreciation's probably going to stop. It's probably going to be stagnant. But right now, we're seeing homes, especially below $350, still appreciating in value, and people are still wanting to buy a house, and we're seeing multiple offers, things like that.
I don't think multiple offers should scare anybody at all. If anything, should encourage people, because that means that the market is healthy and people are willing to come out and buy a home, especially around this time where there's quite a bit of uncertainty with like the bank failures and whatnot, and interest rate. People think the interest rate going up, but they're actually going down, or vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the big thing is there's just so much bad media coverage right now, and I think it's important to work with a local expert that understands what's going on in the here and now. I mean, we're showing homes every day. We're talking to buyers every day, and I think it's important to understand what's going on. But market right now, it's healthy, so if you're thinking about selling, there's still scarcity out there, especially below 350, and it's a great time to buy and sell. And just the biggest thing is having key fundamentals, like what Moncee was saying. Key fundamentals are know your budget, know the areas you want to buy, and there's multiple offers. Just stay within budget, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and we move on and find the next one. All right, so there's a couple videos we want to highlight real quick as we wrap things up. First one is this cat video, so I don't know if you guys...
POV, you're inspecting a toilet at a home inspection.
As you can see. So that's kind of wild there. Yeah, so it made me think of some things that I've seen during home inspections. So I don't know, Moncee, I mean, you're about 2 years in. I mean, have you noticed anything like...
No. Oh, maybe had one.
Yeah.
I was with a gal, we were in the basement, and they had a covered porch outside the basement, and we look up, and in the window sill in the basement, there was a raccoon looking at us.
Oh.
And I did a double take, and I said, oh my gosh. But the gal I was with, she was not fazed at all. So I was like, I'm the wimp here or something like this. I was like, so we call that house the raccoon house. She knows who she is. She'll probably chuckle if she's looking at this video, but yeah.
Did she buy the house?
She did not buy the house, thankfully, but we always call that house the raccoon house. But it was a great experience with her too. It was awesome. We had a good time.
Now, the most crazy thing for me was back in 2010 in Perry. So I used to assist with repossessed houses, and so the bank would repossess it, and they'd say, hey, the agent that I was working with, they would say, hey, go rekey this property. So I went to go rekey this property, And when I got there and I unlocked the door, there's probably 10 starving cats that sprinted out the house. So that was probably the craziest thing for me. Neighbors knew that there were cats, and there's cat food on the porches, but they didn't realize that they were locked in. I mean, I didn't find any dead cats. I was fully expecting, when I was walking around and rekey the property, just made sure there's no flooding in the basement, things like that, that there was going to be a dead cat, but there's none. But I was the hero, so they're all rubbing against me, and that's the last thing I was expecting to see were these 8 starving cats. It was at least 8. It was insane. Yeah, if you want to pull up we'll watch like a minute of this, but the rat video. So this is in Florida. This is not in Iowa. Thankfully, we don't deal with rats and like snakes and stuff like that, like some of the southern states. I would not be able to handle snakes. But so this story here is about a homeowner that bought a house and they didn't realize that there's an infestation.
It's our first home for $328,000. It turned out to be completely rat infested. Most of it needed to be gutted, and we couldn't move in for 3 months. We saw the house in person and we got an inspection. These are listing photos. But the sellers were present the entire time we were there. The house did smell in some parts, but we thought it was just their furniture or dirty laundry. Our inspection report said that the house was in overall good condition and has been well maintained. The conditions found were mostly typical for a house like this, so we didn't see anything alarming in the report. Our inspector verbally mentioned that there was evidence there may have been rats at one point, but that it's common in Florida, so we didn't worry about it. We got a termite inspection from a pest company, and they also didn't mention any damage or rats or infestation, but we were advised to tent the house for termites, which would also get rid of anything living in the house. So when we showed up to Florida and saw the rat poop on the floor, we figured we just had to give the house a deep clean, and then we'd be able to move in. But over the next few days, we found so much poop under the kitchen cabinet, covering the entire attic floor, inside the ducts, the vent. The entire house was covered in poop.
That is disgusting. Just rat poop everywhere.
And they're rats too.
Oh man.
My key takeaway is like as a buyer's agent, it's like helping buyers. We help buyers buy and sellers sell, and it's like how can we help our clients, prevent these type of things? And I think the first thing that comes to mind as a buyer, I think a buyer needs to be aware of is like there's no guarantees. Right. There's none. And you need to be your own advocate. We email our clients and saying, hey, usually a general home inspection is enough, but if you want to have a specialist, you can do that. I think another key thing that a home buyer needs to understand is like, at least in Des Moines, you have usually about 7 business days. It's not just for one inspection. You can have as many inspections as you want during that time. So you can have a general home inspection if you're worried about the electric or the foundation or sewer line, things like that. You can do that through the whole 7-day period. Some sellers don't like that, but if they sign a contract, they're agreeing to that. So I think that's another thing. So you need to be your advocate. Then the third thing, I don't know if I'm counting right, but the third thing that comes to mind is like, you need to realize like the home inspection is normally done about a month before closing. So that's why the final walkthrough is important. So especially with appliances, like if you don't have a home warranty when you buy it, it's like, it might be worth it just to check out. Just make sure things are operational, or just ask the seller if everything's still operational, because in a month span, like things can change. Now, regarding like the specific rat situation, so I touched on like the general home inspection is usually 7 business days, but in the state of Iowa, the termite wood destroying insect is a totally separate inspection period. It's a standalone. So during that termite inspection, they're looking for wood-destroying pests, and in the state of Iowa too, there is a question about infestation. So that was an infestation with that rat thing. So the seller may have lied. So you would probably, if you're in that situation, you gotta go back to the home inspector. You gotta go back to the seller, because there's no way the seller didn't know.
No way.
Oh my goodness. So when I lived in Beaverdale, this is why I got a cat. I don't know if you know, that's why I got Toodles, my cat. Because I tried sticky traps. If you see one, okay, this is with mice. If you see one, you gotta multiply it by 10.
Yes.
But basically, sticky traps, normal traps didn't get it, so I ended up getting a cat. Now the cat is the most mean, terrible cat you could have, but she kills mice. It's the most amazing thing in the world. She just breaks their neck and she doesn't eat them, and sometimes she piles them up. So I think it's, so back to the rat video. So I think the big thing is, you gotta be your own advocate. You gotta realize you need your own inspections, but at least the home inspectors we use, like they do look at the attics. And the last thing I want to say too is like you got to realize that that there's no guarantees with the house. A home inspector cannot look into walls, and so if you start tearing into things, like you might find stuff that the seller may not even know. So it's unfortunate. There's a risk to it, and but it's really important not to just be on autopilot in the home buying process. You need to be working with your agent, and your agent will do the best they can, but you also need to own your decisions as well. What I mean by owning your decisions is like, well, when we work with our clients on inspection items, we just really try to like really have a conversation with them and then make a plan moving forward. And whatever that plan is, make sure you're engaged with that plan and understand the pros and cons to that plan, and then move forward. So
I was just going to add that client particularly was an out-of-state client. Unfortunately, probably was not the inspection. Obviously, I think it's important to again interview your real estate agent and see what type of dedication they do have, because if it's a part-time job for them, more likely now they're not going to be there. But if it's a full-time job like we have, we're going to be there at some point and be very involved in that. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to catch something like that, but I think it says something about like we're dedicated to what we do here to serve you guys, our clients in general, and appreciate you guys. So we try to do everything we can to, especially with just in general, all of our clients. But I think our out-of-state clients, we like to put a little more emphasis because you guys can't be here. So we try to put more emphasis on going even more above and beyond that we can with videos and multiple walkthroughs and hey, do you have anybody here that you can bring so we can show them, like just in general, because it's an important investment, and we want you guys to, again, what Jason said, you guys have to own it as well, but how can we give you guys some clarity without being here and being in two places at once?
Yeah, so, absolutely. And I think we just want to isolate, do everything we can. Now, if something does happen that's totally unforeseen, at least you know that you did everything you could, and it's an allowance of God that this happened.
Right.
No one knew. It's like, that's unfortunate. We'll just do the best we can. It is nerve-wracking with inspections, but with the rat video, it just made me think about, just remind people, like, yeah, just be an advocate, do the best you can, and more than likely, hopefully, what brought to light, hopefully your home inspector has some type of coverage when they miss something like that. Then secondly, more than likely the seller lied about it, and that's horrible. And then, but also ultimately making sure you have attic access and basement access to things. And if things are covered up, even if they're not trying to hide something, we need to figure out a way to get in there. So, all right, cool. All right, well, we're going to keep trying to do this every few weeks, and thank you for listening. And if you have any questions about buying or selling, reach out to us.